Jeopardy! Star Mattea Roach has opened up about their difficult teenage years and experiences in a new interview. The competitor sat down with CBC Books earlier this week to detail the books that had the biggest impact on their lives. In the interview, Mattea shared their 8 favorite novels and how they were drawn to them due to their relation to the characters. "There's a lot of books that I've read that are great, but it wasn't what I needed to read at that time, and so it doesn't stick with you in the same way," the Jeopardy! Contestant told the publication. They went on to list their most memorable page-turners, including one coming-of-age story they connected with the most. "The graphic novel Fun Home by Alison Bechdel is probably the most important book that I've ever read in my life," Mattea said before describing the book, which is about a young child resisting femininity while gravitating toward their tomboy lifestyle. "I read this book for the first time when I was 18. I had a super different upbringing, but there was so much in it where I was like, oh, this is like me. This is how I feel." "I was having that parallel experience of discovering these connections through reading the book," they explained. Another notable read for the Trivia Star was Skim by Jillian Tamaki and Mariko Tamaki, which they summarized as a teen girl in the 90s who is dealing with being an outsider in the context of going to a single-gender private school, much as I also did. They shared that they read the book in their early 20s, which allowed them to reflect on their high school years, dealing with similar challenges. "Being a teenager is so isolating. That is a major theme of the book, that sense of isolation that the main character feels," Mattea added. Jeopardy! Champ! The 24-year-old has come a long way since then, making headlines over their impressive run on the long-running series Jeopardy! The Gen Z, Canadian-born tutor was a mere 23 years old when they became a super champ, or 10-plus day winner, in season 38. Mattea won their first game in April 2022 and exclaimed, "All my student loans are paid off," setting the tone for an unconventional yet captivating streak. Critics knocked their stage presence seeing them openly voice their wager strategy and chat between clues. One particularly memorable moment saw Mattea say with a signature wrist flick, "Should have wagered more," after getting a daily double. But as more wins came, so did the popularity, and there were some unforgettable games during their run. One saw the champ answer Final Jeopardy alone on the stage with just host Ken Jennings, 48, due to a technicality. The other 2 entered Final Jeopardy with negative scores, so they didn't even compete. "Has that ever happened before?" one fan wondered on Twitter at the time. Another game saw Mattea win by the amount, ultimately losing by $1. By then, the TV personality had amassed the 5th longest streak on Jeopardy! Ever and 6th highest earnings. Making moves. Mattea's on-stage Q&A stories were also often the talk of the episode. They revealed they once sang backup in a music video with the legendary musician of Rick Roll fame Rick Astley. During another Q&A, they also revealed to have 7 tattoos, including 2 on their legs dedicated to the band The Talking Heads. Mattea returned for the 2022 Tournament of Champions and is about to return for a 3rd stint. The TV star will also participate in the literary event Canada Reads 2023 later this month, endorsing the graphic memoir Ducks by Kate Beaton. A promotional snap for the event circulated last month showing the usual cardigan-wearing competitor sporting a shorter hairstyle and a full suit and tie. As Mattea Roach prepares for their highly anticipated return to Jeopardy! The beloved trivia champion is opening up about their past in a candid interview. Known for their impressive 23-game winning streak and sharp intellect, Roach has become a fan favorite. But behind their success lies a personal journey filled with challenges, self-discovery, and moments of deep isolation. Speaking with a major outlet ahead of their return to the game show, Roach reflected on their teenage years, describing them as a time of struggle and introspection. "I think a lot of people assume that if you're good at school, if you're winning trivia competitions, you must have had a great time growing up," Roach shared. "But the truth is, I often felt very alone. Growing up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Roach was always academically gifted, but that didn't necessarily translate into social ease. I was definitely the smart kid, and while that can be great in a classroom, it doesn't always make you feel like you belong outside of it, they admitted. There were times I felt isolated, like I wasn't really connecting with my peers. That sense of detachment wasn't just about intelligence, it was also tied to their identity. Roach, who is non-binary, recalled struggling with self-understanding during their teenage years. It wasn't something I had the words for back then, they explained. I knew I didn't quite fit the mold of what people expected, but it took time to fully embrace that. Despite the challenges, Roach found solace in books, trivia, and knowledge. If I wasn't feeling great socially, I could always dive into something I was passionate about. That's what kept me going. Their passion for learning ultimately led them to Jeopardy, where they became one of the most successful Canadian contestants in the show's history. Now, as they prepare to step onto the Jeopardy stage once again, Roach feels a sense of pride in how far they've come. I'm not the same person I was as a teenager. I've grown, I've learned to embrace myself, and I've found a community that supports me. The interview has resonated with many fans, particularly those who see themselves in Roach's story. Social media has been flooded with messages of support, with fans applauding their honesty and strength. Roach hopes their journey can inspire others, especially young people who may be feeling the same isolation they once did. You're not alone, they emphasized. It gets better. You'll find your people, and you'll find yourself.